Hello, everybody. My name is Richard, and this is the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. This is your captain speaking. Would all of our Emerald Club members board now?
Vivian, I think that's you.
Oh, no, I always fly, cheapest tickets.
I'm just like
last.
Ryanair economy, like the cheapest. They don't even pack a bag.
Wait, do people say who they are as they're boarding onto the? Hello, I am boarding the plane now. I'm Vivian. I'm in the back of the plane next to the bathrooms.
It's ironic that I started this bit because I'm terrified of airplanes.
Maybe they shouldn't. Well, I mean, it's my fault because we were talking about Bet. Yeah, I'm Joey at J1 MakeCode forms.
He's part of our gravel class.
Ooh.
Our gravel club, rewards club. That's where we take extra money from you. All right.
They sneak us in the freight compartment.
Yeah, don't do that. People die when they do that. There's no air in there. Okay. So, we're making chess, and because we don't learn from our mistakes, and so far we have programmed in the movement patterns for most of the pieces. So here we go. Let's look at the knight, because the knight's the only one that can jump over other pieces. Come on, knight. Oh, I was pressing the wrong button. I wasn't pressing the button. So there you go. You can see the two places they can move. And actually, I came up with a genius way to show that we actually did it right for all of them. I'm going to go into possibly highlight. No, not possibly highlight. I'm going to go into can I move here? And so inside can I move here, the first thing we do is check to make sure the space is on the board. And then we check all of the pieces and see if it's occupied. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to be kind food, kind or not using. And now we will no longer check if a piece is in the way. So we can see all of the movement patterns.
Ooh.
You can see we did it right. Okay, we got to make it so that you can click anywhere in the square to get pieces.
Oh,
but anyway.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, because you have to overlap with the thing, with the actual piece right now. Is a pain to do. All right. So anyway, let's change that back. Piece, close. And we're now going to get into some of the weirder rules of chess. Okay, so there are two weird things in chess, all right, that don't make any sense. And I don't know how they were created. Maybe Joey knows, but it's weird. And the first of those is castling. So what is castling? Well, if you have a rook and the king, and there are no pieces in between them, you can move the rook over and swap its place with the king, so the king is next to it. Is that correct, Joey?
It's not swap. So the rook moves adjacent to the king, and then the king goes around.
Then they swap. So the king goes. Sorry, so the rook goes here and the king goes here.
The king moves two spaces. The rook moves adjacent to where the king, in between the two spaces the king has moved between.
And you can do this with either rook, right?
Yeah, there's queenside and kingside castling, which is, one space difference between the two.
And you can only do this if the rook and king have not been moved. If either of them have been moved, you cannot do it again.
Correct.
All right, so there you go. That's castling. And you're like, that rule doesn't make any sense. I know. All right. The people who came up with chess were just like, we're just going to throw this weird one in here.
I think it makes sense if you think of it as like they're really big Tolkien fans, and there's like, hiding a king seems important, so we should do this. Right? You gotta let the king out the back.
Tolkien was born way after. Oh, time travels. Time travelers. Yeah.
How do you think dragons existed? We sent back the book in time, and then they read it, and then they were like, we should make dragons, and then it happened.
I'm sorry, how did they make dragons, Joey?
Poof.
Well, there you have it, folks. Okay, the other weird rule is called en passant. So you might know that pawns, when they're moving for the first time, so they're in their starting row, they can move forward 2 spaces instead of the usual 1. Fine. So if you have a pawn that is right here, okay, so say I have a black pawn right here, and I move this one up 2 spaces. So normally, if this one had moved 1 space, I would be able to capture it. But they moved 2 spaces. Well, if they move 2 spaces, you can go ahead and make that capture move you would make anyway and capture it. And that's called en passant. So again, it's a rule that makes no sense. They were just like, meh, why not? And added this one in.
Yeah, my recollection of this one is that it actually is just like a rule for rule's sake to make it a little bit more equal, because originally pawns could only move 1, and then they, for like sake of speed or whatever you would say, allowed them to move 2 for the first time. Like that was a rules addition, but to even it out, they made this rule. So it's strictly for like, we have to make it a little bit more even between who goes first, who goes second.
So anyway, we are going to tackle those 2 rules today. So let's start with, well, I guess let's start with making it so we can actually move pieces, and then we will start doing these other rules. So first off, I'm going to make it so you can move pawns the normal way. So we're just going to make it so you can move them by 1, or you can move them by 2. All right, we're not going to do en passant just yet. We're not going to do capturing just yet. So let's go to our function, which is highlight.
Just right here. Logistics question, so I can keep it in mind, like temper my expectations. Are we going to do like smooth transitions, or is it going to be like teleporting pieces?
We can go back and forth to that. I mean, we can change that in the future.
I would really like it if when you take out a piece, it does the whole like move it slightly to the right, does a rotation on it, and then slams it out of the way.
Duly noted.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So we started this before. We have our pawn, and we have first a check to see if they are a black pawn or not, because black pawns move down, white pawns move up. So the other thing we want to do is we need to check if we are in the row 4, because if we are a black pawn and we are in row 4, that means we are in this top row here. Remember, these are rows of the tile map, not rows of the chessboard. Then we can move 2 spaces instead of 1, but only if we don't have something in between us. So we're going to go ahead and do possibly highlight on 1, and now we're going to put in an if check to see if there's something in the way, and then do a possibly highlight on 2. So I think what we want to do is, let's go to our can I move here function. And we're going to factor this code out. So let's go ahead and go into our, wait, so pawns can't capture straight forward, right? They can only capture diagonally.
Correct, yeah.
Makes sense. So I think what we want to do is we're going to take our can I move here function, and we're going to put in a Boolean, which is going to be called can capture. All right. And now right here, we have this can I move here function, and we're checking to see if the value black equals the ASCII data black. So if it's the same color, we want to return false, or we can't capture it, so not can capture. Right. So if we can't capture, then anytime we run into a piece, we're going to return false because we can't move there. All right. So let's go to our possibly highlight function right here. And you can see that because we added a Boolean, they all got added true by default. So we add true Booleans to all of the existing function calls. That's why I made it can capture instead of can't capture, because can capture is the most common case. And so we're going to take this and pass in our thing right here. So we're going to go ahead and do a Boolean and do another can capture. And we're just going to pass this through. So put that right there. And now what we're going to do is inside of this possibly highlight, we're going to go ahead and say false. So this will now make it so that if we have a piece in front of us, we cannot that we cannot capture, it's going to, not highlight that space. But we should now be able to click on our pawns, and you can see we have the movement things coming up for them. So let's now make it so that we do the correct check to see if we can move 2 or not. So I want to factor out that code that we have. Let's go into the can I move here function. And we're going to make a function which is going to be called get piece on space. And it's going to take in a column, and it's going to take in a row. And we are going to go ahead and take this and put this in here. And instead of break, we're going to go ahead and just do return and return our value. Otherwise, we are going to return undefined. And this is going to yell at us, but we don't care. Oh, no, it's not yelling at me. Interesting. All right. I don't understand why it yells at you sometimes. All right. We're going to go ahead now and set our temp sprite to be a call to this function. So let's go ahead and do function, do get piece on space, and put in our column row. And now we're going to put this in here and say, instead of value, we're going to do temp sprite. This was a refactor, by the way. Joey, I want you to do the
beep, boop, beep, boop.
That's debug, Joey. Thank you. Can't believe it. Getting the songs mixed up.
Well, I mean,
okay, so
it's always kind of debugging. It's just debugging your logic.
In a way. All right, it looks like we broke our code. So I think what we want to do is, we want to do temp sprite, and because temp sprite might be undefined, this will check to make sure temp sprite is undefined, not undefined. Okay, let's try that. Try this now. No, still unhappy. All right, let's go look at our get piece on space function. Okay, so we're doing for value array of sprites of kind piece. If the location column equals column and location row equals row, then we return value. Otherwise, we return undefined. That looks good. I'm fine with this. Now inside here, we're doing set temp sprite to get piece on space column row. Good. Okay. Now we say if temp sprite exists and the temp sprite data black equals temp sprite data black as Boolean, or not can capture, return false. Otherwise, return true. That looks right to me. Am I crazy? No, okay. I was just failing to click on the pieces. Oh my gosh. All right, we're going to fix this right now.
Yeah, we should just do the hitbox sprite.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, for each of these guys, we're going to give them a hitbox sprite that takes up the entire square. So let's go ahead to create piece right here. And when we create a piece, we are also going to do a sprite data set data hitbox to sprite, and then we're going to create a sprite like this, which is going to be kind piece, and it's just going to be an 8x8 square, and it needs to be filled in. We're not actually going to see it, but
do we want the connection going the other way from the hitbox to the sprite?
Yeah, we want it to go both ways. I just didn't want to create a variable.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And now we're going to do parent like this, and we want to set this to be temp sprite right here, and then we want to do sprite data as sprite. Where was I? Oh, here it is.
Is there a block?
And then do. What's up?
I'm trying to remember if there was a. I thought we said that there was a Blockly extension to do like when you drag and you get to the top, it goes up without you having to do like the drag scroll.
Oh, I don't know if that's a Blockly extension or just something they're planning on doing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, but we've spoken about that before. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this, and we should now see, yeah, just a square in the middle of the screen. This is actually a bunch of squares. What we want to do now is we want to make sure that they are all lined up with each other. So we're going to do this inside of a non-game update, which is overkill, but you know, why not? And we're going to loop over all of the sprites of kind piece. Sorry, let's go ahead and make a new kind. This new kind is going to be, no. We want this to remain piece. We want to make a new kind for this, which is going to be piece hitbox. Okay, so for all sprites of kind piece hitbox, we are going to set the location, so set the position on value to be, let's go ahead and grab this and get the X. Well, wait. Vivian taught me a neat trick.
This is my favorite trash trick that I did, because I was going to add a block like place on top of, and I was like, that's absolutely not necessary because of this.
Yep. I'm going to make this owner. Or what did I name it? Parent. That's one or the other. Nice. All right, cool. Now we just got a bunch of teal on our board. Okay, what we're going to do now is we have our things being set in the correct position. We're going to go ahead and make them invisible. So let's go ahead and turn on ghost. Well, yeah, turn on ghost, but also turn on invisible. Because we don't really need ghost. It's not really.
You don't want ghost for the hitbox?
You're right.
Maybe we want ghost for the piece.
It doesn't matter. And let's go back to our overlaps, and we are now going to make this on sprite of kind piece hitbox overlaps other sprite of kind cursor. And now here we're going to do data as sprite and parent. All right, and we should now be able to do it on the entire square. Oh yeah, pink ones can't move.
Pink ones can't move? Oh, because it's not their turn.
Well, we didn't do the pink ones yet. We only did the black ones because pink pawns and black pawns, yeah, they move differently. All right, nice. Okay, so what we're going to do now is if not go into here, call get piece on space. Did you even remember that this is what we were doing? And just do column and row +1. Then we're going to highlight this. So this should make it so that we check to make sure that this spot isn't occupied. All right. Okay. So we did the regular movement. We're going to go ahead and do this one now, which is just going to be the same thing, but false. Okay, now let's do it for white. So we're going to move this over here. And, oh, okay, I already put in the if statement. So I'm just going to move this stuff in here and this stuff in here and do
maybe
minus what?
Would it be easier if we just did like a 1 or a -1 and multiplied it in the the wherever we're getting the next row, just so we don't have to duplicate it for all the 20 different moves we're gonna have to do for the pawns.
What do you mean 20 different moves we're gonna have to do?
Because we have to do like the straightforwards, and we have to do the diagonals, and then we have to do the en passant.
Nah, I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay. And en passant is not actually a special move. It's just special capture, I guess. I don't know. All right, what did I do wrong here? Let's see. Okay, so if data black is Boolean, then do this. Else, if the row equals 9, then we do the column and the row -1. If not that, then we do the row -2. Otherwise, we do this -1. That all seems right to me. So why this? Vivian, why this?
Because. What?
Okay, well, that was not a helpful contribution, Vivian.
No, it was. It was progressing the conversation.
I see. The reason that it did this is because all of our white pieces are marked as black.
Because.
I'm gonna have that Beatles song stuck in my head. All right, let's see. There we go. There we go. All right. Do people ever make their first move be a knight, Joey?
Sometimes, I mean, I'm sure it has happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be a thing. Kind of protect 2 squares that way, right? Because if you cut off their pawns, I don't know if there's, there's like a Queen's Gambit and all sorts of things like that. Like Queen's Gambit is the name of them, but there's lots of different starting points. I don't know enough to know whether there's an actual commonly used strategy that uses knights.
All right, we're now going to do our movement. So we've created these highlight spots that we have for our thing. And let's go ahead and go to where we created those highlight spots right now. We're going to do the same thing we just did for our pieces with our highlight spots, and we're going to give them a hitbox sprite. So let's go to our possibly highlight right here where we're creating this highlight. And we're going to create another thing, which is going to be filled in. This is going to be highlight hitbox. And we don't need to do the game update thing for these ones because they're not going to move. So we can just place this on top of the other one. We do, however, want to give these guys a link to, well, does it even matter? Maybe it doesn't even matter. I'm being honest. I don't think we need a link.
For the move box?
For the highlight hitbox? Yeah, I don't think we do.
Because we can use the cursor with the on A button.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you don't need to link them because they're on the same location, which is all the information we need. Mm-hmm. And when you press A on it, we're just going to destroy all of them. So, okay, nice. All right, so we've done this possibly highlight. We are now going to set ghost to be on these ones. So we should be able to see those hitboxes now. So let me go ahead and select a piece. There you go. Yep. So we're going to set ghost on these so that you can't see them because you want to be able to see if you're capturing a piece or not. Sorry, not ghost. We want to set invisible. All right, and now we're going to do an on overlaps and do on sprite of kind cursor overlaps other sprite of kind highlight hitbox, and then do if A is pressed, then we're going to do our move. I just realized though we didn't see where was our highlight function? Right here, highlight move spots. We want to set our highlighted piece to be whatever this piece is, so that we know which piece we need to move. All right. If A button is pressed, then we are going to destroy all of our highlights. So let's go ahead and do that. Destroy all sprites of kind. Make this highlight. Make this highlight hitbox. And then we're going to go into scene and do place sprite on top of location of other sprite. That's in, again, that's in scene. I always look in sprites for it. And oh, I did cursor. We don't want to do cursor. I want to place the
selected piece.
Yeah, highlighted piece. Let's try that again.
Ooh. Nice.
Looks good. All right, we're moving pieces. It does kind of immediately highlight the next one.
Oh, because we have like it.
Yeah.
The on overlap.
We haven't done the turn stuff yet, so this won't be a problem once we have turns.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, this is fine. All right. Okay, we did chess, guys. This is it, right? This is chess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, come on, Rook.
Is it...
Oh. Rook, what are you doing?
How could it betray you like this?
I know.
This does remind me of chess when it's like when the other person leaves the room for a second and you get the board to yourself. Like, I was exactly like this when you left. What do you mean? You just went to the restroom for a minute. How could it have changed?
I mean, my preferred move is you go look over there and then you turn the board around. And so, you know, you were playing black the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about. Look, I mean, look, it's on your side. How could I be playing it if it's on your side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll figure out that move stuff in just a second. I think what we want to do now is we also want to do capturing. So what we're going to do is right here, we're going to say that if we move on top of a piece of the other color, what we're going to do is we're going to do, let's see, set temp sprite. To be that function we made earlier. So get piece on top of space. And we need to make sure we're doing this before we do the actual move, or else we're going to get our highlighted piece. And then we're going to get the column and row, which is in here, here, and here. We want the location of our hitbox. So we're going to get the temp sprite. And if there is a temp sprite, then we are going to destroy the temp sprite. You need this too. Okay, destroy temp sprite and destroy temp sprite data hitbox. Want that to go away too. All right, let's see if we can capture a piece. So I need to move a pawn up to where that knight can get it. So we're just gonna move on up. There we go. Now, no, knight, you're supposed to be able to capture this.
Our check logic didn't check the piece.
Everyone is betraying me today, guys. Everyone.
How'd they get you?
That includes you and Vivian and chat.
How do we betray you?
By not noticing his bug earlier.
Just kidding. No, you're fine.
No, I'm helping Richard. It's for his own good, so that he has better eyes in the future.
It's an exercise left for the coder.
If I pointed out all of Richard's bugs, then he would get eaten by a tarantula in the real world. So how would I?
Yep. In the desert of Arizona. All right. Now let's go ahead and figure out what's wrong with our thing. Okay, so we have this possibly highlight, right? Let's go to our possibly highlight, and all we're doing is, can I move here? Column, row, can capture. Now let's go to can I move here? And we're gonna say, is it out of the board? That's fine. Then we're doing get piece on space, setting temp sprite to be that. So if temp sprite black equals temp sprite black, okay, so there's our thing. Okay, there we go. All right, so move on up. There we go. Now. Okay, well. It was odd, I guess. All right, now we need to figure out what happened there. Okay, so inside of my overlaps that we had for this, we are if temp sprite, destroy temp sprite data hitbox, and then we do place highlighted piece on top of tile application of other sprite.
When you press the A button, does it select the other piece as the highlighted piece as this is happening?
Oh, all right. I was trying to avoid having another variable for this, but we'll go ahead and do it. We should have done this in the beginning. So we're going to do piece.
Could we could also just make it so we use set it to selected piece to undefined as we after we make a move, and then have the if check be if selected piece. So only select a piece if you haven't just already selected a piece.
Oh, okay, sure, we can do it that way. Well, but then how do you deselect a piece?
B. I'm not sure. Whichever way you think is easier. They're pretty much equivalent in the
end. Okay. So let's see. You'll never be able to do this on a piece that is your color, right? So we can just go to our other overlap.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say that if is A button pressed and or not, and do highlighted piece. So if the highlighted piece does not exist, or grab this right here, or the parent black equals the highlighted piece black, then we do this. So we can only select something if it's the same color. If it's the same color, that means we are not capturing a piece because you cannot capture pieces of the same color. And now inside of here, we want to set our highlighted piece to be undefined. Just like that. All right, so let's try this out. We're going to do the same thing we did before. So move on up.
Oh, was that in the capture logic or in the?
This is in piece hitbox. So after we do the move, we should set our highlighted piece to be undefined, but it's immediately selecting the same piece again.
Yeah. Okay, so this is something we can, I mean, if we implement the switch between teams on move, then we could just handle it that way, right?
True. Yeah, okay, we'll just do that. Joey's making us do things right. Okay, white goes first, right?
This is something I should know the answer to. I mean, I think so. Yes, white moves first.
Okay. So we're going to set black's turn to be false. Now we're going to go into this cursor thing, and we're going to say if the data black equals, instead of this highlighted piece nonsense, we're going to do black's turn. So if it is true and it is black's turns, these will be equal. And we're also going to get rid of this not highlighted piece thing anymore because we don't need that. Like that. And now we are going to go down here and we can go ahead and set highlighted piece again to find it. That doesn't really matter. And then set black's turn to be not black's turn. All right, so now I can go ahead and select this pawn, move it up here. Now I try to select again, I can't. Now I move this pawn, and now these guys can't move anymore because of the rules. All right, so we'll move this guy up. Oh, such a pain for testing.
Should we move? Should we change the move to like 70-70 or something like we always do?
Okay.
Or is it already that?
Hmm?
Should we change the cursor move to like 70-70?
Oh, it's at like 50 right now, I think.
Oh. Maybe we should grid align the cursor.
All right, well, we did it. All right, so our capture worked.
Nice.
So we've got the basic capturing. So next order of business, I think, is to fix bishops and rooks because they're broken. So like this bishop's going to only move one place. Yeah, so this bishop should be able to move up here and capture this guy.
Uh-huh.
So let's go ahead and do that. Collapse. 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 All right, you might remember we made functions for these guys. So let's go ahead and do our highlight bishop first. And we'll see while temp location. So we'd set the temp location to be the location of piece. Then we call move and check for the column and row. And I guess right. So this move and check just adds and then should do the check. So let's go to our move and check function. Oh no, this is the angry function. Okay, so we do possibly highlight this with true, and then we do can I move here with true, and then if we do, we return the next location. So I feel like this must have gotten broken when I made that change to can I move here? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't that work? Because they can capture here. Okay, real quick, let's make this a little bit easier to test. We're going to go into our setup board. And we're going to put a white bishop just in the middle of the board. So make this, I don't know, 5-5 is probably good. I don't know. Let's see. Nope, not good. Okay, so we want to make this like 7-5. That should be fine. There you go. Okay, so I click on this guy and it lets me move in these directions, but only lets me go once. So let's go back to our move and check, and let's do the debugger, Joey.
Beep boop beep boop.
Love it every time. Favorite jam. All right. So we have our column and our row, which is 7-5, and we have our dx and our dy. So we're going to go ahead and step. We're going to do call can I move here. This is going to do this check, which is good. So we do this temp sprite. We do get piece on square. Wait for this function to finish. Temp sprite is equal to null, so we did not find a place there, so we return true. Cool. Okay. So we do this possibly highlight where we create these things, which looks good. And now we do call can I move here on this column and row true, which should return true. Let me just go ahead and I don't want to step through all this again, so I'm just going to set another breakpoint. Right here, and I do continue. And oh, we didn't hit that spot. Oh, I see why. Oh, whoops. Okay, that's a bug. Can someone file this?
I missed what happened.
In debug mode, I can right click delete blocks.
Okay. Huh.
That's no good. Vivian, what's happening in chat?
Oh, we're coming up with a new bot concept where if you go, the command exclamation mark and go honk, and the bot goes honk honk.
We accept PRs, Vivian. You wanna put that in there?
No, it's gonna be a different bot. It has to be.
Oh, it's gonna be a different bot.
Yeah, more like the car bot. Oh.
All right, yay! So we can now, our bishops now can move diagonally in direction, but they shouldn't be able to move past a piece that they can capture. So we need to change that real quick. So we're gonna do if this check right here, we have this if call can I move here. We're gonna do can capture false. This should make it so that we can only move. Yeah, there we go. So we can only move until we capture a piece, and now we can't keep going. Oh, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so this should have fixed rooks too. But let's check. Okay, so we're gonna make some room for this rook. All right, now we need to go ahead and move this rook right here. Nice. Move this right here. Now we move this rook. There we go. It's nice. I move this here. I move this rook. Nice. Move this here, and we win. Cool. Okay, guys, we basically have chess. Right?
Yeah, ahead of schedule. Just call it quits.
All right. Easy peasy. I guess I'm Richard. Richard. No. Okay. We're gonna do everything. All right. So let's go ahead and collapse this, and we're going to. By the way, it would be fun to take this and do. So there's this game called Really Bad Chess. You heard of it? It's fun. Basically, it's chess, but you get a random assortment of pieces instead of the normal pieces. So it's like you might have all knights. You might have 4 knights and 3. Yeah.
We should just do that. When I was at home, we were trying to play chess, but couldn't find the chessboard and was missing many pieces. So we were using the wrapping paper grid. So we were playing long chess. The board was super long and it was extra boring.
That does sound extra boring, actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we can go ahead and we can. What's up?
4-player chess. Have you seen that?
No.
2 chessboards. stuck together, like in opposite directions, and people going all the ways.
Huh. All right. Okay. So we now have our basic thing. So let's choose one complicated move to do before the end of stream. Do you guys want to do castle or do you want to do en passant?
Castle.
All right, let's do castle. Yeah. Okay, so to do castle, what we need to do is first set up our board for testing. So we're going to go back to our white code and we're going to go ahead and make this clear the way. So we'll do the right castle first. So let's go ahead and clear this knight out of the way. So this knight is the one to the right. So we're just going to make this row be, I don't know, 5. That'd probably be fine. There you go, perfect. Okay, so we now have it set up so that we can castle. Here's our king, here's our rook. We want to move our rook here and we want to move our king here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our pieces right now. And let's go to where we create a piece. Right here. We're going to set another Boolean. And this Boolean is has moved. So if you remember, part 1 is you can't do this if either of your pieces has moved. So if the rook or the castle has moved, can't do it. And now we're going to go to where we do our move, which is right here. Whoops, don't delete that. That's important. And we're going to set our has moved to be false. So we want to do the highlighted piece and do has. Oh, set it to be true, I mean. Set that to be true. There we go. We now know if we have moved or not. Okay, so we got to go ahead and check our thing. By the way, the queen cannot castle, right?
Correct. Only the king.
I mean, the queen can't do the rook's whole deal, right?
I'm confused. I don't follow the question.
Never mind. The queen can't play the part of the rook in castling.
Correct.
Okay, so we're gonna collapse highlight bishop and find highlight rook wherever that is. And we're gonna go ahead and do edit function and do Boolean can castle. All right, and now we're gonna go down here and we're gonna do our castle logic. So let's go ahead and put this in here. So first thing we want to do is we want to check to make sure the king and the rook have not moved. So, oh wait, Vivian, what's that?
It's a secret, not for you. Look away.
I thought. Okay, I'll look away.
1 second. Are you, right now, this is when the rook is selected. This is the logic that would go.
Yeah.
Usually, I think you would do it as part of the king because the king is the only one who you can do this with. That it's not ambiguous what the move would mean. Because the rook can always move.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
But the king can only move 2 spaces if it is as part of a castle.
Okay, so we'll just get rid of that. All right, so instead we'll do this in the king's move. So let's go ahead and get rid of this, and we're going to go back to our highlight move spots function. Right here. The bonus thing of this stream is that I'm learning how chess works because I never really understood what castling was. I knew like vaguely, and I knew how to look it up, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I never
how to type into Google chess castling.
But now I know what it actually is. You know, now I can tell you like what it is. And like I knew the basic thing of it, but I didn't know all the little bits. What were you saying, Vivian?
Are you gonna play chess now?
I don't know about that. I would be happy to play chess against someone who is also terrible. So like Vivian, if you want to play me in chess sometime. Or
so rude. I was gonna offer myself up as a terrible person to play against, or a terrible person to be played against, but now I'm offended. I could
don't
be a chess
offended.
pro.
You could be a chess pro. It's true. But what I wanted to say was just anyone who's not Joey. So that also includes Shannon or
I was in
Hassan.
chess club. For your information, I was quite bad at it.
I was in chess club too. And I was only there because the teacher who ran chess club had an axolotl in their room, and I liked to look at the axolotl.
That's a good reason.
Vivian, can you please explain the book? Please explain the book.
I was telling chat how I checked out a children's book from the library, and now I don't want to go back to reading like adult books because children's books are way easier to read. This one's a graphic novel for kids, so also there's lots of pictures.
Ooh, I like it.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to do this similar to how we did our rook and bishop movement. We're going to do a set temp location to be the location of the sprite. Time map location of piece. And now what we're going to do while this is happening, we're going to, while there is a temp location, we're going to do a little check. So let's go to our, can I move here? Actually, we don't need to do that. We're just going to do set temp location to be the location to the right. And you know what? We're just going to actually do a while true. Danger. And we're going to say while each time we're going to move our temp location to the right, and we're going to go until we hit a piece or hit the edge of the board. So let's go to our scene and get a regular old tile map location block. And now we want to get the column and row of this guy, our current one. So the temp location column and the temp location row, and then we want to do the column +1. Okay, so now we have a thing that's moving to the right, and this will just freeze our game because it'll never end. So what we want to do now is we also want to check to see if there's something on this spot. So we're going to do get piece on square right here. And we're going to do the column and row of our temp location. And if there is a piece on the square, then we want to check to see if it's a rook and if it hasn't moved. So I guess we should use temp sprite here. Let's go ahead and do set temp sprite to be this get piece. Now we do if temp sprite, then we're going to say if temp sprite, we need to check if it's black, we need to check its kind. And are you being a gyroid, Vivian?
Maybe.
Gyroids are cool.
Here, chat, I won't communicate in chat with words anymore. You can just use my shadow to see what I'm spelling out. Wait. Stop.
This is a very efficient means of communication. Ooh. Okay, so we need to check to make sure that it's the same color as us. So we need to make sure it is not an opposing rook. Oh, wait, actually, no, we don't need to check that because this will just be handled by the has moved because if it won't have moved. Has moved. So if this has not moved, so let's go ahead and put this inside of a not. And we want to do an equals here and say if the kind of Tim Sprite is rook, then we can castle.
Maybe it'd be fun to have a stream at some point. This is like not directly related, but is related to implement algebraic like chess notation, where it basically just lists out all the moves because then we can just replay them and also, write out the states.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe. And inside of here, we're going to call break. And we're going to have another thing, which is going to be, well, I guess maybe instead of doing while true here, we'll just do while the column is like still in the board. So while the column is less than, what is the end of our board? I go get the setup board function. Oh, or the can move here function. While the column is less than 13. Okay. Oh, I need to refresh. Vivian, is chat figuring out what you're saying?
No, but we're making progress. Okay. I'm going to do one that they gave me as a prompt.
LOL.
Yeah, okay. Guess what this one is?
Giddy up, cowboy.
No, they're letters.
Yeah. No, wait, take this seriously. H-I. Hi. I'm good at this.
Good work. Okay, Chad, I'll come up with another one for you guys.
All right. Okay. So now we've got the basic thing for moving to the right. Let's go ahead and do moving to the left. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to say while the column is greater than whatever the lower bound for the column is, which is 6. So we want to make it greater than 6. Then we're going to do -1 and then do -2 like that. And that should give us castling in the other direction. All right, so now we just need to do the part where we know that this is a castle. And when it's a castle, we need to put the rook in the appropriate location. So we'll do that inside of the move thing. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. We're going to go to where we do our move, which is over here. And we're going to say if you can't capture as with castling, right? We wouldn't allow it, but.
Correct. It requires them to be empty.
Right. That's true. Okay, so if the kind equals king, let's see. We want to get the other kind of equals. I feel like Vivian's like that distracting kid who like just distracts the entire class, you know?
No. We're learning.
Okay, as long as you're learning.
My gourd.
Okay, so if the highlighted piece kind equals king, and we need to see if the difference is between the column that we're moving to and the column we're currently at is greater than, well, is equal to 2. So let's do a minus and do a absolute. And we're going to go ahead and do the column of our sprite right here. And then we're going to do the column of our highlighted sprite. Okay, so if this absolute value of this is equal to 2, then we know we are doing a castle. Okay, and so now all we need to do is we need to say, are we going left or are we going right? If we are going left, so if the location of other sprite column is less than the location of the highlighted piece, so that means we're moving to the left, then we want to get the rook on the left. So we know that the rook has to be in the correct location. So we can just go ahead and call the get sprite on tile. So we'll do a set temp sprite to be get piece on space. And we want to do the row of our highlighted piece. And we want the column to be the whatever the minimum column is. I wish I just knew this off the top of my head. Instead of having to find this function all over and over again.
6?
6, 13. Remember that, Joey. 6 and 13. Okay, so we want to do the column 6, and then we want to place this at. So we want to do place on top of for temp sprite. The tile map location. So we want it to be the one adjacent to the king. So we're just going to go into scene, do location left of, and do the tile map location of our highlighted piece.
Right of?
The king is moving to the left. So we haven't moved the king yet. We haven't moved the king yet. So the king gets moved right here.
The highlighted space is the one that the king's going to be at?
The highlighted piece is the king.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
All right, now we just need to do the opposite case. So we're going to set this to be 13, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
And then we do a location to the right. All right, let's try castling. Okay, so king, highlight right here, do that, and we castled! Yay! I'm not even gonna try the other direction because I know we did it perfectly. Anyway, we're over time. I'm Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forum. Come in tomorrow where we learn what en passant means, even though we already defined it in this stream, and do it!
And I'm Joey, at J1 on the MakeCode forum. And castles.
I'm Vivian at LiveTriff on the MakeCode forum, where we will keep on spelling.
Yeah, and we're also going to do checking to see if we are in stalemate or if we are in check. So look forward to that too, because that's going to be fun. Bye.